Another important issue that we should all be caring about is making sure that everyone is fed, everyone across the country, and especially here in San Diego, in our very own community. The CEO of Feeding San Diego, Vince Hall, recently traveled to Washington, D.C. to testify before Congress about veterans going hungry. Here to talk more about this issue and about his trip, Vince Hall joining us here in studio, again, CEO of Feeding San Diego. Great to have you in.
Thank you so much for having me.
What an important trip this was for you. This was on Thursday.
It was on Thursday morning in Washington time, so I had to travel out there on Wednesday and prepare myself, and then the hearing before Congress happened in the U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. on Thursday morning.
Okay, and it was, you testified before a subcommittee of the U.S. House of Representatives Committee on Veterans Affairs.
Exactly.
How did that all come about? Did somebody reach out to you and said, we need your expertise, we need to find out what's happening?
Yeah, indeed they did. And, you know, the chairman of the subcommittee on economic opportunity of the House Veterans Affairs Committee is Congressman Mike Levin, who represents northern San Diego County. And Chairman Levin had come to Feeding San Diego about 5 months ago and toured our facility to learn about our very innovative approach to solving hunger. And one of the key elements of that innovation is that 97% of the food that Feeding San Diego distributes in the community is rescued food that would otherwise go to the landfill. So it's a very different model than most hunger relief charities that are focused on food drives or purchasing food, and we're really focused on using food that's already in our community. And so he wanted Congress to learn about this food rescue resource as we deal with the critically important problem of hunger amongst our veterans and active duty military families.
Which you sit back and you think, my goodness, how can it be that our military veterans and families may not have enough to eat, may be going through really, really hard times?
Yeah.
But that's the reality. This is what we're seeing in our very own community.
Exactly. And, you know, we see it more in San Diego than perhaps anywhere in the United States because, first of all, we have the largest concentration of active duty military families and veterans of anywhere in the United States, probably anywhere in the world. We also are a county that has a cost of living that's 40% higher than the national average. And so the combination of having a lot of veterans and active duty military with a really high cost of living creates genuine hardship for those military families and those veterans that are living down the street from us, and their kids are going to school with our kids, and you would never know it, but they are struggling. And that's an opportunity for us as a community to rally and to support organizations like Feeding San Diego, which we have a Feeding Heroes program that is specifically directed at those military and veteran families to try to help them. But it's something that honestly most of us across our community aren't even aware of.
And this is part of what you explained to some of our lawmakers.
It was, because this opportunity to rescue food to help solve hunger is an opportunity that exists all across the United States. And so I know from the members of that committee that they are feeling personal frustration that veterans are struggling with hunger in the United States. This is, you know, the wealthiest country in the history of the planet, and we honor and respect our veterans and our active duty military families. And so it's very frustrating for them. So for them to hear that there's a really easy, accessible solution through food rescue that can help put a serious dent in this problem was very encouraging.
Vince, a couple more things, because I want to see that video again of you testifying before some of our lawmakers. What was that like for you?
Personally, it's a very scary experience. I have to be honest with you. I mean, I've lived in San Diego for 35 years, but I'm, come from a small farm town in rural Fresno County, and to find myself, in a suit and tie walking up to the United States Capitol and sitting down before a committee of Congress, it's on one hand, it's a testament to the great opportunities that this country offers. On the other hand, it was personally a very intimidating experience. But I have to say the members of Congress put me at ease. They were clearly interested in learning and sharing what Feeding San Diego is doing with the rest of the country, and so that made the experience a little better. And then most importantly, I was there representing the voices of military and veteran families. And there is nothing scarier in this world than putting your life on the line to defend the nation. And so it really, my discomfort and my challenge at going before Congress is insignificant compared to the sacrifices that are made by those who serve in the uniform of this country. And so it was really a great honor for me to stand before the United States Congress and advocate for their spouses and for their children and for their own retirement and their security and their dignity.
Wow. Well, we applaud you for that, Vince Hall.
Thank you.
As we wrap here, one last thing. If there's an individual at home, maybe a business owner, a corporation at home, and they want to help, we want to help Feeding San Diego, what do we do?
I would encourage folks in the community that want to help our Feeding Heroes program to visit our website, feedingsandiego.org, and they'll have opportunities to either donate to the program, they can volunteer their time to come to Feeding San Diego and help us. They can also be advocates in the community. Everybody hearing this broadcast right now, and I thank KUSI for helping us to get this message out, they should talk to their faith communities, their neighbors, their coworkers, their family members, and say, did you know there's a problem with veterans in San Diego County having enough to eat? Did you know Feeding San Diego's Feeding Heroes program is part of the solution? And get their community involved in helping to solve this problem.
Vince Hall, thank you. It's such a pleasure to chat with you this Sunday morning.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Liz.
it.
Thank you.